This is where things get serious. Moments like this can win you a tie, but one mistake and it can all fall apart. Right, we're into the knockout stages now. After everything that we built in the last episode, the form, the momentum, this is where things start to get tested. We've got injuries piling up, big games coming thick and fast, and a European tie that could go either way. So let's see how this one plays out. As you'll remember from the previous episode, we are in the January transfer window, so we are trying to strengthen. Unfortunately, we did have a bid for Collins from Frankfurt, the centre-half. Unfortunately, that loan bid was rejected. And I did look at getting Willy Kambwala in, as he seems to not be favoured at Villarreal. But the loan fees that they wanted were absolutely ridiculous. So I gave a little search for my man Christopher Cubbs. I've tried to get him before, and unfortunately it hasn't come through. And we'll maybe try getting him in, and we'll see what happens with that one. First game of today's episode is going to be Bankside in the Scottish Cup, which they're actually a Highland League club, which is the league below Scottish League 2. So obviously you're expecting a comfortable victory. We did rotate a few players, and shockingly, after we went 2-0 up, 2 goals in a couple of minutes, just around the 40th minute mark, we then concede, which I'd imagine will absolutely make their season. But nothing to worry about, as we score another goal in the 55th minute, and then we can complete the scoring after 71 as Keskinen pulls it into the middle for Bilalovic, who fires home to make it 4-1. We avoided a scare there after they managed to pull it back to 2-1 just before half-time. But unfortunately, just like in the last episode, the injuries keep coming thick and fast, as Proctor's out for 2 weeks. Brennan, not so bad, just the 1 to 3 days. But then this one's quite a big one. Our main right-back for this season so far, Anthony Ralston, obviously we brought him in from Celtic. He's going to be out for 7 to 8 weeks, which is, that's a shame for him. We do have Jack Milne, who was wanting to go out on loan to get more first-team football. So he did pretty well for us last season. So not too much of a drop-off in bringing him in back at right-back. So we'll see how he gets on. Up next, though, we had Hibs at home in the league, and we started off 33 minutes in. Jack Milne, little 1-2 with our, plays it to Redondo, forward to Bilalovic, who fires home to make it 1-0. Nothing else really happening much in the first half, though, and that is how the first half finished, 1-0 to us. 9 shots to 5, so fairly even, with slightly in our favour. But we unfortunately couldn't hold on to the lead, as Oriol Romeo, you might remember from a surprising move to Barcelona after he spent years at Southampton, scoring an absolute screamer to make it 1-1, which is how the game finished. Following on from that, though, straight into a game against St Mirren. 14 minutes in, though, we get a corner which comes in, and as it does, Brandon Williams gets pushed over, resulting in a penalty for us, which Husam Awa steps up, makes no mistake, and makes the scoreline 1-0. Again, nothing else really happening in the first half, so the scoreline at half-time was 1-0. And then, fortunately, in this game, we didn't let the game slip away. We do go 2-0 up after a nice little finish from Keskinen to make it 2-0 in the 60th minute. And again, that's only the real chance of the second half, with the scoreline remaining at 2-0 for full time. So another couple of wins. Good to keep momentum going with this form. We seem to be doing pretty well at the moment. And unfortunately, another injury, 12 to 15 days for Milanovic, who's been so good for us this season. So be a shame to lose him, but fortunately only for a couple of weeks. Next up, one of the biggest games of the season for us in terms of league fixtures anyway. Always a massive game every time we play Celtic. And they go real close inside the first 3 minutes with an effort from Engels. And then literally 2 minutes later, that man again, Engels, from the edge of the box, Herrera just seems to get fortunate with the ball just hitting his leg and going out for a corner. And then again, 42 minutes in, Kolpani going close, but sending it over the bar. Our only real chance of the game, as we seem to get dominated in this, was this potential penalty from Auer. Unfortunately, though, it was judged to have been outside the box, as the referee gave us a free kick rather than a penalty, with nothing coming from the resulting free kick. Fortunately, that's how it finished, as a ball draw 0-0 against Celtic. So Unfortunately, we didn't make any ground on them as they are still above us in the table, but at least we didn't lose and we kept our unbeaten run going. So, ready for the knockout stages, we had the registration pop up again. And we managed to obviously get our new man in, Husam Awa, who has been so good since he signed for us, and he's going to be a massive player going forward. So we had to include him in the squad. And we also managed to include Daniel Gore, who has really stepped up for us. Probably played more than I expected him to be honest. Obviously, I thought Redondo would be much better than he has been for us. Not that he's been bad, but I just think Dan Gore has been so pivotal for us. He's really stepped up when we've needed him. And with the Moises injury, he ended up being sacrificed, and Aremu as well. He's obviously our fourth choice defensive midfielder, so unfortunately, he also drops out of it. Unfortunately, we didn't have room to include Louis Barry, which is probably a little bit of a shame because he's been so good for us. He's done really well. But unfortunately, somebody had to miss out. Next up in the Scottish Cup, we had Forest Mechanics, and we didn't mess about getting the first goal in this one as Lazatic heads home in 7 minutes. Mitchell Frame from left back, the youngster, getting a start today, and he gets the assist. Our other youngster, Cooper Masson, from the midfield, finding Louis Barry, who gets his goal, and then he gets his second goal in the 26th minute, firing home for an assist for Lazatic. We scored another couple of goals, but this was a great one for Lazatic. This one actually rounded off his hat-trick. Didn't show his other one as it was a little bit of a fluke. But then he does get a fourth goal in the game, heading home to make it 5-0. But then this pick of the goals is Ryan Fraser right on the edge of the box, just down the left-hand side, whipping it into that near post and making it 7-0. So, yeah, great day all round. 4 goals for Lazatic. He certainly stepped up to the plate with the Cullen injury. With that victory, it puts us through into the Scottish Cup quarter-final, where we will play either Partick Thistle or Rangers. So, be interesting to see how that one goes, because one of those you'd have expected us to win, and this other one will be obviously a much tougher fixture in Rangers. But this is where the real important matches of the episode start, as we play Partizan in the Europa Conference League first knockout round. You might remember we played them in the league phase and they actually beat us 2-1. So we'll be looking for revenge in this one, and it starts off perfectly with, Milne gets a little bit lucky because it's a great volley from Litherland, but it seems to just hit Milne and go in. But we do go 1-0 up after 6 minutes. Almost an instant reply for Partizan, as Kostic, if you remember, also caused us absolute chaos in the league phase, going close, but a good save from the goalkeeper. But then 14 minutes in, Awa with a great drop of the shoulder to send the defender the wrong way and fire it home to make it 2-0. And we didn't mess about getting the third either, as Keskinen finds Lazatic, and that man is absolutely cooking at the moment, makes it 3-0 in 19 minutes. We do go close again in the 25th minute, absolutely started on fire, and Lazatic with the header just wide of the post. Maybe would have expected better with the form that he's in. And that's how the first half ended. Into the second half, Partizan looking to make a comeback with a great team move, ending up with a Kostic goal. And this guy, I think he could do a job for us. He's been so good every time we've played them. And then 89 minutes in, things get really interesting as Partizan score another goal as Stefanovic goes past the defender with ease and fires into the far corner. Do give the players a little focus to make sure we don't concede another. And we go straight down the other end in the 92nd minute with Brenner scoring. But unfortunately, it's going to get ruled offside. You'll see from the replay, though, it was the correct decision and it wasn't actually particularly that close. As Awa plays the ball through to Brenner, he's a couple of yards offside by the time he receives the ball. And that is how the scoreline stayed, with us winning the first leg 3-2. And like I said, this Kostic, every time we've come up against him, has been really good. And you can see from the scouting report in the top right, our scouts think we should sign this guy as a priority. So he's certainly one that we'll add to the shortlist, and we'll, if we've got the money in the summer, he'll certainly be one that we'll look at bringing in. Back to the league matches now, though, as we played Dundee United in between our 2 legs against Partizan. And we do not mess around, getting the first goal with Louis Barry picking out Lazatic with his cross, who heads home to make it 1-0. And again, this guy is absolutely cooking on gas at the moment. He then goes close again after 11 minutes, but the defender is adjudged to have fouled him, leading to a penalty, which Auer makes no mistake in scoring, sending us 2-0 up, and that's how the first half finished. 65 minutes in, Louis Barry picking out Lazetic for the second time in this game to make it 3-0. And yeah, another comfortable victory, another 2 goals for Lazetic, and he's certainly stepped up to the plate while Cullen has been injured. Another man that steps up to the plate with a Cullen injury has been Louis Barry, and the fans are desperate for a permanent deal to be struck for him. His attributes are currently on the downwards, but I think that was after he had a little bit of an injury, which is why that probably is. But he's certainly done the business for us so far this season. 7 goals and 5 assists in the league with 12 starts and 10 sub appearances. Pretty good going. Making this a permanent deal, though, might be a little bit difficult. As you might remember, when we did bring him in on loan, there was an optional future fee of 10 million, which I would imagine is certainly going to be difficult for us to afford that sort of money. However, that might be made slightly easier depending on how this takeover approach goes. There is talks of us being taken over, so hopefully someone could come in with a bit of money, inject it into the club, and we might be able to throw some cash around. Let's see how that goes. And yeah, and as I was just mentioning about this man, Lazetic, he's been absolutely cooking since Cullen's got injured. He's got 3 goals in the Conference League in 5 starts and 3 sub-appearances, but 6 goals now in the league in only 6 starts, 10 sub-appearances, but yeah, 14 goals, 5 assists in total. He's certainly been doing the business. Like I say, he didn't start off particularly great this season, but since that Cullen injury, he's certainly stepped up to the plate. Now, this is the important one. Can we hold on to that lead? Against Partizan, we start off just like we did in the first leg, going 1-0 up early on, and it gets even better. As after 18 minutes, we didn't mess around after the first goal. Keskinen goes past his man, Jovic, fouls him, giving us a penalty, and that man again, Auer, does not make mistakes from the spot as he fires into the bottom corner, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way to put us 2-0 up, 5-2 up on aggregate. 5-2 up on aggregate is actually extended. 31 minutes in, Auer pulling it back to Balalovic to make it 3-0, 6-2 on aggregate now. And we're looking very comfortable at half-time. But again, just like in the first leg, we're in danger of throwing things away as I think it's Vujovic goes through too easy in the middle, firing home to make it 3-1 in the game, 6-3 on aggregate. And that man again, Kostic, picking out Vujovic, lays it off to Milanovic, gets it back, firing home to make it 3-2. Giving Partizan a good chance to get back into this game. Fortunately for us though, Redondo picking out Lazetic, he sends Keskinen through 1-on-1 who fires home to make it 4-2 in the game, 7-4 on aggregate. No mistakes in this one. Made it a little bit more comfortable for the last 15 minutes as we go through comfortably to the round of 16. Keskinen certainly did the business for us in that game, and as you'll see, after that result, that actually now takes us to 17 games unbeaten, with our last loss actually being against Partizan in the group stage, or the league phase rather, of the Conference League. So some tough games coming up next, but in the league, we are currently second, 4 points behind Celtic still, so we need to really try and gain some points on them, but 2 points in front of Rangers as well. It's pretty tight up there. Obviously, once we get the split, we'll obviously be playing Celtic and Rangers, and they'll be playing each other as well. So potentially a chance to pick up some points and catch up with Celtic. In terms of individuals for the league, I was quite interested to see how our players were getting on in terms of the goal scoring charts. And you'll see Liam Cullen down in 7th place. Pretty good going considering he's been injured for a while now. You'll see he's on 10 goals, 4 behind Nygren who's in first, but he's played 22 games, just the 14 played by Cullen. So, yeah, if he'd have been fit for the whole season, he'd certainly be right near the top of that list. Got a few players up there. Obviously, Lazetic only really started scoring recently, so he's quite far down. But Keskinen, that man also with 10 goals, he's been so good for us this season. So good for us last season. He's certainly one of our best players. And I'll keep saying it. I'm not entirely sure why, but I do not question it. In terms of assists, though, the loan signing Brenner, obviously he played a lot up front at the start of the season and more so as a cam until we signed Auer. but he's in second place with 8 assists in the league. And this is what's up next. Monaco in the round of 16, obviously a pretty well-known team in terms of European competition. And these are the teams that are left in the Conference League. Obviously, some huge names, as you'd expect. Aston Villa, Sevilla, Monaco, who else? Lazio. But then also some teams that you kind of expect us to do well against. So, if we can beat Monaco, there's still a good chance that we could progress further in this competition. So, we're through. And momentum is definitely still there. But now, it goes up another level. Monaco next, and that's a completely different challenge. Next episode, we find out just how far this team can go. If you liked this episode, do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.